Hey everyone, welcome back to Islam Unboxed. Today I will be talking about Mahdi. Who Mahdi really is. Muslims are waiting for their Mahdi to come. They believe Mahdi will come to gather the Muslims to help Jesus fighting the Jew. I will show you some hadith that we will read together, and several hadith actually, and one of them very long. And then I will also show you verses from the Bible, from the book of Revelation, especially chapter 13 and chapter 15. Sorry, chapter 13 and chapter 17. And I do believe after you read about Mahdi from Hadith and then you will read the book of Revelation, you will be shocked. You will realize who Mahdi is. And you will be shocked. Let us start with Sunan Ibn Majah. Hadith number 4086. It was narrated by Sa'id that Sa'id ibn Musayyab said, "We were with Salama and we were discussing Mahdi. She said, I heard the messenger of Allah say, Mahdi will be one of the descendants of Fatima. So Mahdi will come from Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad." Let's go to the next one, Sunan Ibn Majah, another one. Hadith number 4083. It was narrated from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that the Prophet said, "The Mahdi will be among my nation. If he lives for a short period, it will be 7. And if he lives for a long period, it will be 9, during which my nation will enjoy a time of ease such as it has never enjoyed. The land will bring forth its yield and will not hold back anything, and wealth at the time will be piled up. A man will stand up and say, Oh Mahdi, give me." He will say, "Take." Just to try to understand this this hadith. So the Mahdi, Muhammad said the Mahdi will come from his nation. And when he said if he lives for a short period, it will be 7. I believe this 7 years of reign. So he will rule for 7 years. This is not talking about the age of the Mahdi. So again, this hadith will also mentions, right? Everyone will prosper under the rule of the Mahdi. So whoever asks anything from the Mahdi will just say, "Take it." "Oh, Mahdi, give me a house." "Here, take it." "Give me a land." "Oh, here, take it." That's what he says. Now, next hadith is Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 4285. This is also narrated by the same person. I don't know why this is what crazy about this hadith, The hadith very similar, but then one hadith could be Hasan like this, and another hadith Da'if or weak. I don't know why. Anyway, this hadith is Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 4285. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The Prophet said, "The Mahdi will be of my stock and will have a broad forehead and a prominent nose. He will fill the earth with equity and justice, as it was filled with oppression and tyranny. And he will rule for 7 years." As you can see, now it's mentioned 7 years. So, but the funny part is the description of the Mahdi mentioned a little bit. Although it's very generic, The Mahdi will have a broad forehead and a prominent nose. So many people, millions of people have this kind of description. This description doesn't help anything, you know. Even actually, some women, I do believe many women have a broad forehead and prominent nose. But why do I even bring this up? Because I don't I don't actually believe in coincidence. There's no coincidence, especially about Hadith and Bible. The verses I'm gonna show you later. There is no coincidence at all. So now let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on its head a blasphemous name. Right? So this mentioning on its head a blasphemous name. Let's go to the next Revelation, chapter 17. Then the angel carried me away. Sorry, Revelation chapter 17, verse 3 to 5. Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled, filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery: Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. As you can see, the name written on her forehead. And Sunan Abu Dawud also mentioned forehead. Do you believe there's a coincidence? Maybe. You believe there's a coincidence. But me, I don't. Not for a second. Let us continue to another hadith. This time is Jami at-Tirmidhi. Hadith number 961. Ibn Abbas narrated that the Messenger of Allah said about the black stone, by Allah, Allah will raise it on the day of resurrection with 2 eyes, by which it sees, and a tongue that it speaks with, testifying to whoever touch it in truth. So the black stone in Makkah, the corner of Kaaba, will be able to see because it will have eyes, and it will be able to speak because it will have tongue. The hadith by itself sounds ridiculous, but if you read the book of Revelation chapter 13, you will change your mind. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. Again, I will read one more time. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. Wow. Do you still believe in coincidence? The image could speak and will kill anyone who refuses to worship the image. Crazy, right? Now, let us go to Sunan Ibn Majah. This hadith actually is quite long. This one is Sunan Ibn Majah, hadith number 4077. I will not read the whole thing, right? Because this is very long. This is actually a almost like a several hadith in one. Yeah, because you can read pieces of this hadith somewhere else. You know, like for example, he is one-eyed. You know, your Lord is not one-eyed. It's also written in somewhere else. But hadith, like Quran, hadith is also repeated heavily, repeated. So now I'm gonna start reading from here. Part of his fitna will be that he will say to a Bedouin. So this Dajjal will say to a Bedouin, "What do you think if I resurrect your father and mother for you? Will you bear witness that I am your Lord?" He will say yes. Then two devils will appear to him in the form of his father and mother, and will say, "Oh my son, follow him, for he is your Lord." So this hadith mentioned how Dajjal somewhat has miracle, not real miracle, but has power. Dajjal did not. Uh, Dajjal doesn't resurrect the real parents of this Bedouin, but actually summoning the devils who change their shape. Right? Now we will continue to the book of Revelation again. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 11 to 14. Then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had two horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed, and it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Because of the signs, it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast. It deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It, it ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. So the beast here, they also have power, causing fire to come down from the sky. The same thing. But let's go back to that Sunan Ibn Majah, 4077, the long hadith. I want to show you something else, something similar. Here, I will start reading from here. Sorry, I don't want to cover it. And part of his fitna will be that he will pass by a clan who will believe in him, and he will command the sky to rain, and it will rain, and he will command the earth to bring forth vegetation, and it will do so, until their flocks will come back in the evening of the day. bigger and fatter than they have ever been, with their flanks stretched and their udders full of milk. You see? Well, the book of Revelation saying fire to come down. This one is talking about rain, but you know, you know what I mean. Both from both books mentioning this person or this uh, the beast or this person has power. This one is talking about Mahdi bringing down rain. But the book of Revelation said the beast will bring down fire, the opposite. But there are similarities to it. So who do you think Mahdi is? I do believe the Mahdi is the Antichrist. The Mahdi is actually Dajjal. Don't get it wrong. The Mahdi is Dajjal, the Antichrist. Because think about it, right? Why would Jesus need someone to help him fighting Dajjal? It is so funny. Because in case if you don't know how powerful Jesus is, I'm not talking how powerful Jesus is according to Bible, but I'm talking about how powerful Jesus is according to Islam, according to Hadith. Let's go. From the same Hadith. I will start from here. I will start the reading from here. When he has finished, Isa will say, Isa is Jesus, by the way, in case if you don't know. When he has finished, Isa will say, open the gate. So they will open it, and behind it will be Dajjal with 70,000 Jews, each of them carrying an adorned sword and wearing a greenish cloak. When Dajjal looks at him, this is very important. When Dajjal looks at him, he will start to melt as salt melts in water. He will run away. So he will start to melt. That's how powerful that Jesus is. If Jesus is only a human, do you think Dajjal will melt? Dajjal is very powerful, you know. You can see Dajjal is very, very powerful. The Mahdi that they mentioned in the same hadith, the Mahdi with that kind of power cannot defeat Dajjal. That's why Jesus is coming to defeat Dajjal. The Mahdi, the strangest part, right? Mahdi will bring wealth, prosperity for 7 years. People ask anything, he will say, here, take it. And he can bring vegetation to grow. He will bring down rain when it's needed, whenever he wants, basically. He's so powerful. But how come he cannot defeat Dajjal? Because Dajjal is way more powerful than Mahdi. This is very complicated. One thing is actually what they believe as Mahdi is actually Dajjal, That's why their Mahdi cannot do anything, because Mahdi is a made up story. There's no Mahdi. Again, think about it. If there's Mahdi, why would Jesus come back? Why not the Mahdi? The Mahdi already gathered Muslims to fight with Jesus against Dajjal. Why not the Mahdi? Right? And then now you can see when Dajjal looks at him, he will start to melt as salt melts in water. So Dajjal, that is more powerful than Mahdi, now melts just from looking at Jesus. Jesus didn't touch him. Jesus didn't even do anything, not even doing anything. Jesus just standing there. And Dajjal is melting. That's how powerful Jesus is according to Islam. Now, if you are a Muslim and listening to this, ask yourself, who is Jesus? Is he just a human? Well, that's all from me. Thank you for listening. For those who know who Dajjal is, who knows the difference between Dajjal and Mahdi and Jesus, may God bless your soul. Have a nice life.